Let's talk about Stoicism. Well, we're going through the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and we're in book 5. Skip a little bit. I wanted to talk about section 33, which I think is a very interesting section, especially right now. In no time at all, ashes, or bare bones, a mere name or not even a name, and if a name, only sound and echo. The prizes of life, empty, rotten, puny, puppies snapping at each other, children squabbling, laughter turning straight to tears, and faith, honor, justice, and truth fled up to Olympus from the wide-wayed earth. So what is there left to keep us here if the objects of sense are ever changeable and unstable, if our senses themselves are blurred and easily smudged like wax, if our very soul is a mere exhalation of blood, if success in such a world is vacuous, what then? A calm wait for whatever it is, either extinction or translation. And until the time for that comes, what do we need? Only to worship and praise the gods, and to do good to men, to bear and forbear, and to remember that all that lies within the limits of our poor carcass and our little breath is neither yours nor in your power. There's a lot to unpack here, I think. These are troubled times. And it's stressful, a lot of people, all kinds of things going on. You cannot go to work, people have lost their jobs, and you can't do all the things that you're used to and that you like. Divertissement, as it were, right? Like you can't do the things that you go to shops or go to a restaurant. You can't do any of those things. I'll stop gesturing now. So you can't do any of those things. Isolated, alone, maybe alone, isolated for sure. So then what do you do? Because this is a time a lot of people start to think about all sorts of things. Is this the end? Maybe. I don't think we're there yet, but it's definitely a perilous situation. So then what do you do? Fear-mongering won't help. Standing on your balcony and shouting that the end is nigh is not going to cut it. That is not going to help anyone. Panicking has never helped anyone in the history of the human race. So panicking is not a good solution either. But it is an interesting time to reflect on things, and something that some people reflect on and other people find very difficult to reflect on, or a little scary to reflect on, is their mortality. And that's what Marcus Aurelius is talking about here. In no time at all, ashes or bare bones. In other words, before you know it, it's your time. And then he actually, I think he expresses this beautifully. A mere name or not even a name, and if a name, only sound and echo. Stat rosa pristina nomina nuda tenemus, right? The rose of yore now only exists as a name, and naked names are all that remains to us. So in other words, even if you are gone and you are remembered by people, it's still kind of hollow, isn't it? Because you're gone. So it's nice they remember you, hopefully for good things, but you're just as dead. So then what's the point? And he actually says, well, not that much, because think of everything in life. The prizes of life, empty, rotten, puny, puppies snapping at each other, children squabbling, laughter turning straight into tears, veil of tears, right? Oh, life isn't that great. Think about it. I mean, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. But there is also a lot of suffering in life, right? Some people have some more suffering than others, but there's always some. What's the point? What's the point? So what is there left to keep us here if the objects of sense are ever changeable and unstable, if our senses themselves are blurred and easily smudged like wax, If our very soul is a mere exhalation of blood, if success in such world is vacuous, what then? Well, that's an excellent question. So none of it's really worth it because our senses are easily distorted. You may not even see or perceive what you think you're perceiving. Life is not that great because laughter turns straight into tears. Well, often true, right? And also the other way around, by the way. Don't forget that. So then what do you do? What do you do? And I think Marcus Aurelius gives a very nice answer to that. A calm wait for whatever it is, either extinction or translation. He struggles. Marcus Aurelius struggles in the meditations. You see that continuously. Are there gods? Are there not gods? There's even sections where he very explicitly raises that question. So what is it? Is it extinction? You're dead? Gone? Done? Or you're translated into something else, some sort of afterlife maybe. Well, he doesn't know. None of us know, right? So he's very clear about it. Just wait. A calm wait and see. Just see. You'll figure it out. You at some point you're going to be there and you're either at heaven's gate or there's nothing. But is either of those two really so bad? And is one really better than the other? When you think about it? I want to turn this into a giant metaphysical discussion, but people want to have eternal life. I understand that. But would it be so much worse if there's just nothing? And you die and then that's it? That's it. Nothing else. There's no heaven. But then there's no hell either, right? So why worry? But then he says, and until the time for that comes, so you have to wait and see, what can you do? Only to worship and praise the gods, and to do good to men, to bear and forbear. To bear and forbear is Epictetus. Literally, this is a citation from Epictetus, right? Bear with those things that are happening to you, and forbear. What should you forbear? Well, in the case of Marcus Aurelius, he was a little Spartan in his approach and attitude to life, so he would probably say something like, avoid pleasure. We'll get to the chapter where he describes sex. That's a fun one. He's very nice and clinical about that. But why engage in all that, right? Now, you can have all kinds of opinions on that, but Stoics, I think, if you interpret them very strictly, would say that pleasurable things are indifferent. You can pursue them, but just don't let them distract you from the path of virtue. Remember, that's the path you should be staying on. So you can engage in all those things, but then if you don't get those things, that's okay too, because it's an indifferent. You're indifferent to those things, right? They're indifferent to virtue. Let's put it that way. You're not indifferent to them, but they're indifferent to virtue. Remember that we've had the discussion, like money in itself is neither good nor bad. It's how you use it. Pleasurable things are neither good nor bad. It's how you use them. You can enjoy them, but they can't distract you from virtue, and if you don't get them, that's okay too. You just accept that you don't get those things. And remember that all that lies within the limits of our poor carcass and our little breath is neither yours nor in your power. I think that's the most important thing to remember. Whatever you do, it's not really in your power. You can and you should strive to do good, and that's the Stoic thing. Of course you should strive to be the best version of yourself you can be. That's one of the whole points of Stoicism. You continuously strive to make that progress. But whatever crosses your path, that's not up to you. All you can do is react to it. So take something like our current situation, right? This is April 2020. There's a pandemic. There's a virus. Well, I'm sure nobody really enjoys that. beyond the toll it takes on people, and people are dying from this. It also affects all of our lives in larger or smaller ways. Probably more larger than smaller ways. But what can you do? Unless you happen to have a magic vaccine in your fridge, I don't think there's a whole lot you can do. Yeah, you can. You can donate to research, and you can do. Yeah, I understand all that, but none of us can say, "Oh, virus, done. Virus gone." We can't do that. What we can do, and that would be the Stoic thing to do, is choose how we respond to that. It's not going to make a difference. It won't. But thinking about these things can make a difference. How do you handle the situation? What do you do? What do you not do? Those things that you cannot do right now, does it make a big difference? It's made me think about how much I take things for granted in an industrialized nation, how easy it is for me to think, oh, I'm going to have lunch here, I'm going to have dinner there tonight because I feel like this or that or the other. Think of all the options you have, all the different types of restaurants you have, all the different cuisines, all this stuff. Well, now you don't. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes me feel grateful for having access to those things under normal circumstances. We're now under extraordinary circumstances. I cannot personally change the circumstances. I cannot make this virus go away. There's nothing I can do that will make this virus go away. But I can think about things I am grateful for. I can try to be helpful by maybe making this video and giving people a potentially different perspective on the situation. Small things. To bear and forbear. And to remember that all that lies within the limits of our poor carcass and our little breath is neither yours nor in your power. Your life isn't yours. Even your life, which is probably what you value most, is not really yours, is it? Like, I mean, you didn't win the lottery to be born, or you didn't like spend this much money on things so that you would be born. You were just born. But you belong to the universe. You were created, from molecules that over time that came from the stars, right? Inside you now. And one day you will die, and you will give that back to the universe. And that's it. And then you have completed that cycle. Not gone, just different. A different state of being. I think if you consider things in that light, then it's really not that bad. Now, I don't mean to make this depressing. I don't think we're all going to die or anything. But think about these kinds of things, because this is the time to think about things that you might otherwise not think about. And maybe also think about what things really mean to you and how you look at things. This particular video was a little bit associative because I wanted to touch on a couple of things. I hope it somewhat made sense and it wasn't too incoherent. I hope this was useful. Let me know what you think. And I'll gladly see you again next week when we talk about Stoicism again. Bye.